I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. Shoot a shot.
Well, folks, looks like another heartbreaking loss for the Tigers. They go down in a nail-biter, 13-17. Back to you, Jim.
Yeah, coming in hot, just like the fajita. I write what I live, my life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow, just like the demeanor. I'm feeding my fam, I'm feeding the meter. They got the iron while I got the steamer. I bring the fire, but you never seen her. I testified on
1317 Sports presents Get It Off Your Chest podcast, sponsored by No One.
I hope every future athlete, current athlete, former athlete knows this. Your identity is not the sport. The sport gave you identity, but that's not your identity. And there is nothing wrong with starting over, man. There ain't nothing wrong. If you are willing to fail, boy, success is waiting on you. Because I'm willing to. Most people don't want to fail. And we fail all the time. But I think for me, the thing that stood out the most was, man, learned my senior year of Florida being a great teammate is what I had to relearn when I got to the NFL. Because I realized, man, it's so different, man. Like different walks of life, different. We're all in the same tax bracket, but yeah, we all getting the same check.
There you go.
So for me, think about this. I'm a country boy from Georgia. I got to go to college in Florida. I got drafted by Tennessee. Only thing I had to learn was that Central Time. That Central Time told me.
Yeah, that hour behind.
Yeah, and I think now looking back on it, when I'm blessed to go and speak to these crowds of people, and I always tell them the same thing, man. I said I believe who we are and what we are is the same. I said who we are and what we are. Who am I? I'm the greatest. What am I? The greatest. Why? Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. He is the great I am. We come from greatness. Whether we acknowledge that greatness, that's on you. So what I do every day is I take that same greatness from me and I put it in front of me. I go, put it in front of me. Then I take that same greatness and I put it behind me and I put it on each side of me. That way I'm being pushed, pulled, tugged, and pushed by my own greatness. But my own greatness has to be realized first because people say, well, what is greatness? Greatness is, it's not, greatness to me is how you serve people. Because David Land helped my dreams come true. He didn't want nothing from me, bro. You see, that coach said, Miss Troupe, you giving me your son, all I got to do is get him some cleats. Well, separating me and him is some cleats. You see, it's the when our lives intersect. I don't know who my life going to intersect with. But if I stay ready, so I don't got to get ready, when we meet, I'm gonna realize who you are for you realize who I am. I'm gonna say, what's your name again? Because once again, when I shook Milton Gray's hand, I'm looking at who he really is. The people think, man, he just work at the bank. That's how he make his money. That's not who he is.
Right.
And for me, football gets me indoors. So they'll say, oh, former this, a former that. Yeah. But I'm not here to talk to you about football. Now, if you got a sign, let's go on pro. Let's have a chat. I'm here to talk to you about life. Football to me was a game of life. And now when I'm doing, the way, me loving my wife, me loving my children, me loving my family, me serving these young men in my nonprofit, the Uncommon Crew, me being a servant without listen, but I'm a server, you know what I'm saying, without an apron on. I'm trying to do as much as I can for as long as I can, for as many as I can till I'm gone. Because you know how it is, so we can go to our garages and how we have dominated stuff.
Right.
When it comes to stuff, so the three things I'm looking to defeat the most, and I say it all the time, like the three things I got to defeat the most is money, materialism, and me. I don't want. Do I need my money? Yeah, but I don't chase it.
Yep.
Do I want the material stuff? Yeah, but I don't need it.
Yep.
And I got to make myself the 10th on that list. Now maybe the 20th on that list. Right. Because if I'm taking care of those 9 or those 19, they want me to take care of me. Because they say, man, you got to do something for you. But most of the time the list, I'm number 1 and the 9 and the 2 through 10 is under me. Or I'm number 1 and the 2 through 20 is under me. Nah. Because, Tori, the one thing you need to know why I got you is you him for more reasons than you know. You him. You told me about, man, when you went back, man, and you know what I'm saying, they was honoring you, man. And people tell me, man, because I told you, every receiver that go to UT Martin now and in the future, they got to know about you
They do.
for two reasons. One, he was a bad boy, right?
Yeah.
And number two, boy, you did it the right way, boy. And I think that's what I can appreciate now is that, listen, the older we get, the better we were. When we talking to our kids, boy, who? Man, I would have called 30 passes. Because we don't
Easy.
got to play though. We can talk about the trash. But when your children, when the people that love us get to see us in our element, when you told me you was doing this, I said, man, just tell me. Man, just
Tell
tell
me
me when.
when. Yeah,
You know,
100%. You sure did.
you just tell me what you need from me.
That's it.
Because that's who I am. And ultimately, I want to die three things. I want to die on empty. I want to die serving somebody, and I want to die selfless. Selfishness, man. That's why I say I got to kill me, materialism, and money. Because if I could kill those things, it's other things I got to deal with. But if I'm not worrying about how much money I get, if I'm not worrying about what type of car I drive or how I look when I show up, and if I'm not making it about me, man, I could do so. I could see Torian.
Yep.
Because if it's about me, I'm like this. Wait a minute, man. You know, now it's how
Yep.
many listeners you get, how many viewership you get, how long.
Yep.
I said, hey, listen, man, you interpret. You know, interrogate me, man, like the first 48. Listen, bro, either you
That's
know
it.
or you can't. Well, for me,
That's it.
I'm gonna show up for Torian because I want Torian to know he him. I want you to know, boy, listen to me. Either you got next or you are already there. Either you
Man.
got next up or you are. So I'm the one that you show up for something big, right? And you don't know I'm there. And then the door closes, right? And right before it closed, I go, oh, what's up, boy? Man, how you? Well, listen, man, I'm everywhere. They never there. See, I don't listen to them because they never there. They can only watch what we do and critique. Because as my daddy said, the one that supports you and the one that don't like you, they both got tickets. They got to be able to see it. So he say, so in the words of T.I., he say, if you live for the chills, you will die by the booze. You don't need neither one of them. So I'll take the chills now. We'll take the love, take the positivity, but we grow through the scrutiny.
100%.
So for me telling you to and listen, man, I'm happy at the fact that whatever was the final straw to make three, you know what I'm saying, 17 Sports come to life. I'm so happy you did. Cause
Man.
the worst thing you would have seen is you go online, you say, boy, you know somebody got a 317 Sports.
I, I know 13, 17. Well, and the crazy thing is, when it comes to the name, the story behind the name,
Yes, sir.
it's ex teammate of mine in college. We played college ball together. His name's Jack Greenwood, and he was like one of the most solid guys on the team. He didn't curse, he didn't drink, he didn't do none of this partying. No, he married to his high school sweetheart to this day, right? And started a family right after college and all that stuff. And so I had him in mind. And what I didn't know though, Ben, was, his kids he was actively coaching and mentoring and a prevalent figure in his church. Right. And so kind of reminds me a lot of you. And he just very soft spoken. And so when I approached him with it, he's excited because he has boys his sons who are aspiring athletes and trying to get scholarships and whatnot. And so,
Just like mine. I got
yep, just like yours, right? And so, once I told him about all this and the inspiration behind it, he wore number 13 and he played what they have now, which is the hybrid safety position, right? The rover, right? And this is he was one of the best at doing it. He was so disciplined. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the most athletic, but he was assignment sounded. He
yeah,
just did his
make
job.
no
He did his
mistakes.
job. He
Yes.
did his job. And so I just always respected him. And so I came up with that name. And it wasn't something that I thought. It was like it just came to me. Like it is naturally formed 13, 17 Sports. I wore number 17, he wore number 13. And so
Honor this man every time you do a show, man. You honor this man every time you do a show.
every time, man, this is my brother, and I love him a lot. I love him so, man. Again, as when you have blood, sweat, and tears, and I at UT Martin, and I don't talk about, it's not about me, but I just for content for content's sake,
Talk your
to
talk.
kind of put it in perspective. I was a part of a rebuilding program, and UT Martin now is a small, we're a small Division I school. but they're a powerhouse now, and it started with our class, and we were part of that rebuilding program. And we won a conference championship first in school history. Went to the we called it the 1AA playoffs, first time in team history. Unfortunately, I missed that. I missed most of that season because I tore my ACL. But Jack was a intricate part of that, and so yeah, man, the Get It Off Your Chest podcast is just one entity of 1317 Sports. And so, I like to have, figures like yourself, motivational figures like yourself to come and share what you've shared, because there's so much insight that what you've shared thus far, Troupe, that a lot of young people, and of course how it's recruiting with NIL and all that stuff is
Yeah,
so different now.
yeah,
But it's when it comes to the recruiting, and I was talking to my one of my good friends, Alex Atkins, Coach Atkins at the LSU. He's a run game coordinator and a tight ends coach, at LSU currently. And I asked him, hey man, what does a kid who's not on your radar, who's a three-star, player, not a 4 or 5-star player, because you guys get a lot of those, how can they get that type of attention? How can they come in? How can they play for you guys? And he said this. He said, man, it ain't even about the stats. It's about their skill and their potential. And that's how he kind of recruits. And so I'm like, man, and then of course when it comes to NIL and stuff, they look at those guys, how many followers do you have? And so, but I just listening to your story, like it was so like you had that support from your family. You didn't have all the knowing, because again, like you said, Troop, you didn't have cousins who went there before, who
God,
played the game before you, right? So when it came to you having to trust these people, right? And of course, a lot of them they're not our hue. They're not our hue. We talking about coaches who come into your
yeah,
mom and them house to,
yeah.
convince them to let them to take your son, and you gonna watch them like another father,
Mm,
right? So and it's crazy listening to your story, because as you spoke about, you know, Steve Spurrier and Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier and Tommy Bowden and Steve Spurrier coming to your house, and you go there, and then he's gone after he leaves after your second year, and then you get here you go, you get Ron Zook, right? You get Ron Zook, who he ain't passing the ball. He ain't passing you the ball. You going into your senior year like, well, hey, listen, now I really have aspirations of making it to the next level. Now I got an opportunity to, make a name for myself, support my family, help my family who I care so deeply about. And now this guy's like this. You got to give up me for us. And if you give up me for us to accomplish this common goal, watch what I tell you. You're the type of player that NFL teams want, because you have to be selfless.
man, you said, and you know what's funny? Hearing you say that, Ron Zook did not give a lot of. I'm not giving you a lot of backstory. I need you to protect him. I need you to be a good teammate. I'm gonna talk to the team through you. Meaning, I'm gonna get at you, Troop. I'm gonna come at you rough on the field. All I want you to do, I had lines when it comes to Ron Zook. It's yes sir, no sir, yes coach, no coach, coach me, coach me. That's it. Anything else is ego driven. He said,
Right.
think about it. But here's the thing, but you just said it. He said, look, boy, because what people didn't know about Zook was the special teams coordinator. He was special team coach in '96 when Florida won its first ever national championship. Bob Stoops, who went to Oklahoma, was a D coordinator, right? He was D coordinator. Steve Spurrier, special team coach of Ron Zook. Ron Zook said, being true, let me tell you something. That all I ever wanted to be was the coach of Florida. He said, I want to be the head coach of Florida. He said, let me tell you something. He said, this is how I do stuff. He said, either you're going to be a part of the dream or you're going to be a part of the nightmare. And if you're a part of the nightmare, I'm going to treat you like cancer and I'm going to cut you out. I'm going to treat you like cancer. I'm going to cut. And he kept it a buck because he came from the New Orleans Saints back to the NFL. What I appreciate the most about him was, dude, he didn't sugarcoat nothing but a cake, man. He kept it a buck. And listen, Coach Spurrier was the coach I chose. Ron Zook was the coach I needed. I needed that.
Man.
I needed him because my perspective had to shift. I had to
Yeah.
understand, dude, if you want to play an individual sport, golf is available. You're too big to be in a NASCAR. Go play tennis. You know what I'm saying? So looking back on the team, I just appreciate this.
Man, dude, listen, I'm
People
gonna
like
tell you, man.
people like yourself, T, are rare, man. And the reason why I
Man,
know this, Mike Patton is a godsend. He told me about you, and I said, Mike, man, you know me, man. Just tell him, man, whatever. You know, he said, no, man, just talk to him. I said, listen, man. I said, listen. I said, I ain't got no assistant. I ain't got no publicist. I ain't got no manager. Right? I said, my wife, Cheryl, she's a money magician. That means she makes my money disappear. Poof, it's gone. And I love her to death. Yeah, but listen, but this the greatest thing, the greatest thing I will ever bring to this world is my children. I will never, ever be able to duplicate that. The greatest decision I ever made was to marry my wife. It is the
yeah,
greatest decision
man, that's
I've
beautiful.
ever made. Because you talk about success. The other day I'm at the Uncommon Crew. We do it every Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. I drive almost 3.5 hours,
Yup,
spend an hour and a half. They said, Mr. True, what's successful? I said, get you one of these.
that's it.
And I said, but listen, I say, and understand this, man. A ring represents an penetrable circle. Nothing can
Yup,
penetrate this.
100%.
I said, don't be the one. Don't be the. I said, behind. Listen, people say behind every great man is a great woman. No, a man can only be great because of her, because she is
100%.
willing to stand behind you. And I
Yeah,
think for me, having my wife helps me see life right, like the right way, because her perspective is always different from mine, but she is my reflection. So people say, man, how you know what you're reflecting? She'll tell me what I'm showing her, whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally, verbally, non-verbally. So now I think about this, T. I've done some stuff in this life, and I go, because I got her. Whew, I tell people, I said, man, y'all ain't. I'm nervous for y'all. Not that I'm gonna do something to you, but it's like,
yeah,
because it's like this. My wife helped me open my eyes. That way, when a Torian called me, "What's up, baby? What's up?" Torian, let me tell you something. No one knows who the next one is, but I get to be the one to say, "You listen. You doing some big event? You once again, you don't know I'm there, and you standing on stage. I'm gonna be in your direct line of sight, and I'm gonna make sure, and you know the lights going, and it's gonna hit me. You're gonna see me, and you're gonna stand. And I'm gonna look at you, and I'm gonna look at you and say, "You don't deserve anything. You earned this. Listen." Oh, and I'm gonna say, and instead of telling people I'm humble, tell them you're welcome, because you blessing them with what you blessing them with.
yeah,
We
man.
are humble, but as this, I want you to say I'm humble, but I want you to confidently say y'all welcome, because y'all don't know what it takes to stand on these stages, to have these platforms. Once I took me and I pushed me down and I pushed us up, 1317 Sports was birth. And we ain't going,
Man,
listen, get it off your chest. I'm gonna keep it off my chest.
that's hey, my
Anybody who's somebody better be coming on 1317 Sports. If
good
you ain't
sport.
on here, it's because you ain't been on here yet. But if you've been on here, listen, I want to just be able to say, man, I want somebody to say, man, you don't know Tori. And I say, that's what you know. Let's black. You don't know.
That, hey, true. And hey, listen, man. You give me that type of energy. You give me that type of energy, man. And that's something that's special about you that I noticed when you and we've spoken on the phone. You know, your energy is palpable, bro. Like it's unimaginable, bro. Like it actually it reminds me of me, and I'm not used to meeting people who have that matched energy. You know, and so your energy is just it's contagious, my boy. And I'm a big believer in energy. I'm a big believer, and people can feel it. People can feel it.
And I was waiting on you to say that on Sunday. Because I be needing to know what we are. Like on Sunday, Bishop Burner said, boy, be a filling station. People come to you. Listen, God gives you so much. He pours in you to pour out of you. So you a filling station. People come around you, they walk away filled up. Because you filling
Man,
them with encouragement. You filling them with enthusiasm. Boy, you filling them with optimism. And guess what? You cannot give something to somebody that you do not have. The only thing gonna come out is what's already in you. So listen, Lord, I pray that you and your wife and everybody around you continue to be filling station. Listen, the first filling station you have is your home. Then you get filled up in your home. Then you go out, right? And then next thing you know, your coworkers, the people you deal with, athletes, families, they'll say, dude, So listen, if you with Torian, this is what's gonna happen. If you're having a bad day, you're gonna have a good day. You're gonna have a good day, you're gonna have a great day. If you got a great day, you're gonna have an exceptional day. Why? Because Torian ain't with that. If Torian come in like this, hey, what's up? What's wrong with you?
Yep, that first thing they gonna do. First thing they gonna do, man. They first thing they gonna do is literally, if I ain't smiling, they facts. It's happened all my life. You know, they're like, man, what's wrong, man? What's wrong? I can't always be, happy go lucky. I gotta take some time to think of
That's it. I saw Torian. Torian had a normal day today. Well, let me tell you something. You are a filling station, sir. You are a bridge. You are a bridge builder. You connect two things together that would not have come together without you. And somebody told me, I'm gonna tell you. They said, listen, when you're young, you go to the highest point you can see, so the world can see you. Then you come back down. God put some humility in you, and you go right back up to that. You get to go up again, so you can see the world. I got to see what the need is. You be like, yes, where you going? I got to see. Oh, okay. There it is. Climb. Cause see, sometimes I got to go up a certain height so I can see it. Listen. First, I want to be seen. Look at me. Look at me. And the need was dead end, but I'm not there to see them. I want the need to see me. This time, the need ain't even looking at me, but I can see them now.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, but you got so much, you young, man, you got so much wisdom. When we in your 40s, we in our early 40s, and we think we old, right? And, you got people like your parents and them, people like our parents, like, oh, you just a baby, and so, but I can tell, man, that you have grown up around a lot of wise people in,
Wise,
in your
man.
family, man. You got the lingo, the sayings, the analogies, just like a old school cat, man.
Like Shannon. Listen, when I hear Shannon Sharp talk, I said, man, that's how we talk in the South.
That's 100%. Hey, true. You ain't lying, my boy. And we about to wrap it up, but I can't, I cannot, wrap it up before asking you a few more questions. And one's very important because I want my audience and the viewers to know. Again, when it comes to, being Troupe, he accomplished a lot in sports. He accomplished a lot in football in his football career. Coming from a small town of Swainsboro, Georgia, being a backup and going into his senior year of high school, but showing up and showing out when the opportunity arose, when those coaches came to see his team practice. You get your notice on. You have the foundation with the family foundation. You pick your school. You go and you become an All-American. Your second number 40th pick in the 2004 draft, my boy. And then you get to leave the game on your own terms, right? Now you got to figure out, now you this football player. And this is where a lot of people, and including myself, this is where that mental health kind of kicks in. I'm a big mental health I'm a big on mental health awareness. And, but a lot of people don't understand when it comes to, especially our culture, coming from the, obscurity, poverty. And we're talking about in America. You to stuff that you are witnessing as a a lot of young men of our hue and in some rough areas in this nation. You already going to college as a football player with some things that you've buried. And the one thing me and my homeboys, we never talked about some of our parents being on drugs, and we just lived life. We just kept it going. And so you've have this unbelievable football career. Now I have to go professional in life. You went professional, you went pro in your sport and your work. Now you got to go professional in life. And now you have this foundation of this unbelievable foundation of family Troupe. And now you become an author of a children's book, right?
Yeah.
You become an author of a children's book. Then you just wrote another book, Uncommon, and what I got it right here,
Uncommon and unfinished.
Uncommon and Unfinished.
I mean,
So tell me,
right here. See this right
there, hey, that my boy.
I'm sending this to you.
I need it. Hey, so tell me, how were you inspired to go down this path of becoming an author?
I want to say 2005, my second year. I'm at one of my friends' house, Marcus White. May he rest in peace. He started off at Albany, went to Kent State, and he was a D tackle. And I was at his house. It was a little girl at his house. Her name was Yamis. And football players, we around each other all the time. I know Marcus, his wife, ain't got no kids yet. So I go, hey Marcus, who the little big girl? He go, what? I said, who the little mixed girl? Now I'm sitting there with Troy Fleming, former running back, fullback at Tennessee, and Mike Waddell, former cornerback who went to UNC. We all a part of me, Mike, and Troy. We all a part of 2004 draft class.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Marcus' house, and I said, who the little mixed girl? He said, oh, this is Yami's. Mind you, Yami's mama, Miko, she come out the back. She's my, I'm sorry. Who a little bit? What you mean, little mixed girl? I said, little girl, that she mixed. She said, she ain't mixed. I'm talking to her mama now. I said, that little girl daddy is white. She said, listen, Raju, never met Miko day in my life. Miko say, she is not white. He said, her daddy is not white. Then Troy Fleming say, no, her daddy ain't white. Look at her hair. And she like, who are y'all? I said, Miko, not to get in your business, but her daddy delivered milk. And he delivered house to house, if you know what I mean. Like, what? So, long story short, became cool with Miko. Me and Miko, man, come to find out Miko went to Auburn, man. She was there with Jason Campbell and Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown and Carlos Rogers. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of, and she, and she had a baby really, really, really young. And we just got to talk about life, man. And she became a really, really good friend of mine. And, you have a bunch of conversations. And she said, man, she said, one day, man, I want us to be able to do something that we can all, benefit from. And, you just have a conversation. You fast forward, 18, 19, I can't remember. Working on the radio, working with ESPN radio down there in Brunswick, Georgia, coastal Georgia. And she called me up one day. Hey, man, what's up? We kept in contact, man. Cool people, man. She actually came to my wedding, man, a year ago, man, last year. She came down and she was asking me about, she said, hey, you ever thought about writing a children's book? Did you have the conversation how we having it now? She said, I got a character named Judy. She said, yeah. She said, I want to have a character named John. She said, ain't your dad named John? I'm like, yeah. She said, well, I'm going to call him Jon. I know your dad is John. She said, could you come up with like a rhyme scheme? This during the pandemic, because we call it Judy and John's man.
Judy and John, yeah.
I come up with a little rhyme scheme or whatever. She said, how about we come up with a book called Judy and John's Mask? I already got an illustrator and I already got a publisher. And I go, all right, let's do it. Because she already got an illustrator. We already got, she said, so we do that. And the guy who published our book, his name is Timothy Bond. His publishing company is called Troupe Publishing in Nashville, Tennessee. This is like 2018, 2019. So now I get the book. We're selling the book, giving it out. Fast forward to 2021. Well, 2020, all this happened around the time of the pandemic.
COVID.
Ain't nobody, we can't really go into the office or whatever. So we doing the shows and stuff from the house. So we got a lot of time to ourselves, me and BJ. So I heard somebody say, if you come out of COVID the same way you went in, you wasted your time. So we started. So I said, all right, BJ, man, we ever gonna write this book? Let's write this book. Started writing it. We started writing. We ain't got no title for it. 20 in February, I'm in Swainsboro to speak. No. Yeah. I'm in Swainsboro to speak. Meet the gentleman named, and he's my liaison to kind of take me around campus or whatever. And I was asking about this lady because I had a nonprofit before called We Win. It was WEAWEN to stand for We All We Got, We All We Need. We Win it's now the Uncommon Crew. So when I meet Trey is taking me around. I'm asking about the lady. When in 2012, when I'm 4 years out of the league and I'm trying to do this nonprofit called We Win, talking to all these people, and everybody's saying no. I got to be used to talking to people, say no. Talking to people, say no. Talking to people, say no. I come to Swainsboro, this lady, I talk to her, she says yes. I didn't prepare myself for the yes. I got used to no. Right? Fast forward to 2020, 8 years later, she's still on campus. She said, Ben, what's going on? I said, oh man, I'm trying to do this nonprofit thing again. She said, well, let me know what we can do. I said, I'm trying to I'm trying to come on, I'm doing my speaking thing. She says, you tell me how much you charge to speak. And I'll get it done for you. I said, well, how you know? She said, because I'm the one who approved the checks. I'm the one who approved it. Right? Man, become real, real cool with Entree, man. We learned about his story. Entree, listen, remember when I told you my mama, when I said which college I'm going to, my mama said she prayed about it. The Lord showed her, gave us in her dreams, is why I went to Florida. Drama called me. Trey said, Troupe, man, listen, man. He said, I've been praying about it, man. And the Lord gave me this. It's called Uncommon and Unfinished. I said, I will call it Uncommon and Unfinished only if you write the foreword. Well, if you can see here, I don't know if you can get this on camera here, right? So you go to the foreword page in this book. If you can see it, you can see it where.
Yep, foreword by Andre Drummer.
So that's how. So That's how that. And the thing about it is, Uncommon Unfinished is a story about all. You, me, because I believe all of us are uncommon. I believe the reason why Torian is uncommon because your thumbprint is your imprint. There is only one thumbprint like yours. If you had a twin or or triplet, so because God only made one you, that's how uncommon you are, and you will be finished when they put that dirt on. So I wanted to have something that spoke to all of us. I spoke about my dad and then I spoke about my mom and then I spoke about my brother. So I spoke about my kid. The version of the chapter for my kids, BJ Bennett, who I wrote the book with, his dad used to call my kids the Benians. So so when it comes to talk about my kids, that's the chapter. It's called the Benians. And it's like it's a Uncommon Unfinished is an appreciation story for so many people. And it's funny. Now the troops as a whole get to say we can be authors. Both children's book and so Timothy Bond, the editor of Troupe, when I was telling him about my book, he said, "Listen, man, I ain't telling you what to do with your book, but just notice it's yours." He said, "Because everybody think Amazon and all these different places." He said, "Well, listen, Amazon is a huge entity. You give them your book, they're gonna tell you what you can and can't do with it." He said, "Just trust me with it." So I'm in Tampa, and I'm visiting this is when my book came out. I'm in Tampa, visiting my daughter Mia at the hotel. She's sleeping. I'm up in the middle of the night. I just type in uncommon. Tori, and I type in uncommon. All of a sudden, I see Walmart, Target, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and it once again it floored me again because once again I didn't know who Timothy Bond really was. He's a Milton Gray. He's a David. He's a coach David Lane. He's my coach when I first started playing. These people, what they do and who they are, I get introduced to what they do. They show me who they are once I start working with them.
Correct.
So now I'm living in Brunswick, Georgia, right beside St. Simon Island is almost more highly sought after than the Hamptons. When I'm trying to ask people about, can I get my book published, and they kind of give me the cold shoulder because St. Simon Michael Jordan has a house on St. Simon. It's super duper rich over
there. Yep, Brunswick, that's South Georgia.
Yeah, that's coastal Georgia. Yeah, yes. And so that's like Brunswick, like an hour south of Savannah, Georgia. When we came back in there, so they're giving us the cold shoulder. When we come back, right, the lady's like, "What's the name of your book?" We tell her, she type it in. She said, "You already got ratings and everything." Like, yeah. And the greatest thing about it, my book is this. My dad will never write a book. My mom will never write a book. But I get to tell their stories. I get to tell people just a small glimpse. And the reason why I could write my book was my father went from being in prison a long time to getting out of prison to being on drugs. And people ask me, which one would you pick if I had to pick? I'd rather pick prison because at least I know where my daddy had. Drugs, it just did something to my family, to my mom, to me.
Yep, concurred.
One day, we drive in the car, and my daddy finally silenced the demon. That's what I mean. We drive in the car, I ain't saying anything. He just started spilling it all out, saying, "Son, I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for how I used to treat you. Listen, you mean the world to me." And he said it to Tony. He said, "I am proud." And my life changed and my life began. Because I wanted to hear that. I could say, "Oh, it don't bother me." Of course it does. That's my pops. And when he said that, I felt as though all that stuff that I was holding fell off me, man. And I take it a step further than that. 17 was gonna be my last day here. I was living in Brunswick, I went through a divorce and it killed me.
Now we getting back to mental health.
Yeah,
mental health.
It killed me. It killed me. So I'm living in Brunswick. It's right beside St. Simon Island. I was gonna walk out on St. Simon Island Beach, and I was never gonna return. I was gonna walk until the current takes me. I get into this water, man, and this water about up. I'm 6'5". This water about up to my freaking
chest.
God showed. Listen, I look up in the sky. I can see three faces. I can see my son BJ. I can see my daughter Mia, and I can see my daughter. If you do this, their life is over too, because they got to spend their whole life asking the question they cannot answer: why? Why would he do this? He ain't talk to me. He ain't talk. Now, God got me to turn around. I do not know how long it took me to walk back to my car. I don't know if it took a minute or an hour. I don't know if it was dark when I got in my car, and because I couldn't see anything, feel anything. When I turned around, I realized I need help. And I said, oh, I got a counselor. And I said, no. I didn't get help right then. I met my wife, Cheryl.
Mm.
And I met her again in like 2020. She was my advocate for mental health. She was my advocate for counseling. And the first time she told me, I didn't do it. Second time she told me I did. And it's what she said to me. She says, therapy will give you what you give it. If you give it all your all, it will give it back to you. If you come in there faking and flogging, don't be mad when you ain't getting better. And so I say to anybody, especially us, listen, the Black community, the African American community, we have this stigma. And let me tell you why it's crazy. Stop listening to people who haven't even done what you're trying to do, telling you shouldn't do it. Listen, you wouldn't tell a person who bleeding out not to go to the hospital, right? You wouldn't be like, what you in the hospital for? Yeah, you bleeding out, we just can't see it. You are bleeding out. And you can either get sick and tired of being sick and tired and do something about it. Listen, this is for your current life, your future life, and your children's future life, because you could be the advocate for your whole family, man. Instead of saying, hey, man, I'm the first one in my family to go to college. I'm the first one in my family to go to the NFL. I'm the first one in my family to go to therapy. Watch
Man,
what that do.
dog.
Watch. Because I said, listen, people are afraid of therapy. You know why? Because it might just work.
Yep. Hey, true.
You know what I'm saying? If people might say, hey, man, why you go to therapy? Because I was sick. I was sick in my. You
Brain.
don't go to therapy to keep them going crazy. You go to therapy, man, because you already at your wits' end. You better take your mind. And listen, this is when you got to be selfish and say, man, you got to do this for you. Forget all the noise. Good advice and bad advice, you know what I'm saying, is really depending on it's in the eyes of the beholder, man. It depends, because it's just advice. You don't got to take it. But here's
Take
the
it.
thing.
Yep.
Don't talk yourself out of something you've already talked yourself into. Take your behind the therapy. Do it and make a decision after you do it. Don't say, I don't do that. How you know you don't need asparagus? Have you ever tried it? So for me, it was a turning point. But I have a podcast called 84 Reasons, and one of my old teammates, Ernest Graham, he was on it. His son, Miles Graham, goes to Florida right now. He's a legacy player. And during the interview, Ernest kind of tense when I'm talking to him. And he said, like we talking like we're talking our team. He said, listen, I want to say anybody out there that's going through anything, man, but make sure you go out there and, take care of your mental health, go and see somebody. And I told Ernest, I'm proud of you, boy, because I talked to somebody too. And when I said that, man, that boy just opened.
Man,
So,
man.
so listen, from one man to another man, from black man to black man, listen, it's okay to cry, man. It's okay to let that stuff out, man. The one ability that men need to learn how to operate in and operate through is vulnerability. Because people say you can't be vulnerable. Well, because you're not, it's killing you, man. We get it. Anybody can be macho. Anybody can be this alpha male. Listen. Stop listening to these
Yep.
man on social media that's trying to make money. They're trying to get views, man. Why
Yep.
would you listen to a man with no woman to tell you how to get a woman? Anyway,
Yep. Hey, listen, I appreciate you sharing what you're sharing, man, when it comes to, the mental health aspect of our culture and our community. Of course, amongst, it's just everybody in general, just really, because mental health is something that you hit it right on the head. And I've talked about it on each episode that I've had thus far. And it's all of the people that I've had on this show, we've all played, a brutal sport, and we all come from some type of, poverty, right? And so, a lot, and again, it's too all too macho. And I'm a person, like, I tell people I love them. I don't care if you, I don't.
listen. I'm gonna tell you I love you. I'm gonna do my best. However I greet you when I first meet you, I'm gonna do my best to do that every time I see. To the point
Every
where,
time.
I want to meet you. I want to be around you, T, and people don't know I know you.
Yep.
We all suited and booted. This is the red carpet, man. This who's who. And
Yep.
listen, and somebody interviewing me, and I just happen to look and I see, and I go, hold on for a second, and I go right up. People go, who was that? I say, because I said, look, whoever I'm talking to, you're trying to get your interview points in. You got some talking points. That's Tori.
Yep.
That's T right there. What?
Yep.
Meaning, I know. Listen, I said I know who he really is. And sometimes, right, we gotta listen. One of my most humble ability is I can really see people.
Mm-hmm.
Even if listen, especially when they ain't trying to show me. So when people go, man, why are you always talking to me like that? Because I'm talking to who you afraid to be. I'm talking to who
Yeah.
you afraid to show. But guess what? That's who I'm gonna talk to. I'd rather you get mad at me because I'm talking to who you really are than to love who you're not. Yeah, go ahead, be who you're not. I said, but guess what? The only people gonna be there in the end was those that was there in the beginning. Ain't nobody else coming. So
Well,
for
y'all tell
me,
you, you,
when I see Torian, I'm listen. So Entree Drummer, y'all little, small, light skinned, handsome dude. So let me tell you about Trey. Trey, Trey about 5'9", 5'10". The boy light skinned with green eyes. I said, Trey, get away from me, bro.
get away. I'm a little bit tall.
So
I'm about 6'1", 200.
when I see Trey, when I hug him, I pick him up. Now he always say, Troupe, the only reason why I don't stop you because I can't stop you. But you the only one that do that. And I told him this. I said, if I ever get to a point to where I don't do that, ask me what's up.
Yeah.
Because boy, I said, boy, listen, man. I say, this is who I am. I said, the world tell you I give you I said, I give you my last, right? Yeah. My daddy taught me to give you my first, but I give you the first thing I got.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it. So you can say, look at him. I'm doing it because I don't want to die selfish. I want to die selfless, serving somebody, killing. Listen, I want to kill me. I want to kill materialism. I want to kill that money thing because if we can do that, boy, we can see. Like I say, when I first went up there to that highest point, it's all about me. It's all about how much money I make.
Yep.
It's all about
Yeah.
materialism. The next time I got a t-shirt on. Man, why you? Because I want to see who I was supposed to see 10 years ago. I could be 10 years in helping these people.
Yep.
So my thing is, when it comes to mental health, listen, you cannot take care of the neck down unless you take care of the neck up. That's mental health. If
That's
you don't
it.
take care of it's over with down here.
Man, dog.
And down here is a facade. But if I'm taking care of this, man, not only if I take care of the neck up, not only is the neck down good, everything I can see with these two eyes is good. Because mental health, you come into this world with hindsight,
Yep.
right? Listen. You go through a little bit of life, God gives you insight. Mental health gives you foresight. Boy, I can see it. Oh, shoot. And guess what? It's been right there the whole time. You've been driving by it every day. But if I'm mentally sick, I'm done, man. That
Man.
means all I can do is put on a facade every day, hoping that somebody don't see me. But guess what? I'm gonna be the one to say, look, man, you don't need permission to do for yourself. What? You got to love you enough to do it. Because if you don't do it, you ain't really loving your lady. You loving what you got left. You ain't really loving your kids. You giving them what you got left. But if you take care of your mental, boy, they getting a part of you. They going, Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
they can, boy, it's like they can see you now.
You're
Mental
right.
health to make it so that I can't do nothing. When you got your mental health right, boy, you'll jump in the pool with all your clothes on. While you lay your feet up, I don't care. Daddy, where you go? I don't care about the clothes. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, because life is about relationship, moments.
Yep. That's it.
The greatest currency you have is people in relationships, man. That's the greatest currency you're gonna have. People in relationships, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Create as many moments as you can, as many memories as you can, and be a filling station. Tori, people want to be around you, boy, because they lacking something. And
Yep.
they'll say, hey man, come over here, holler at my boy Tori. Why? Because this boy gonna give you something that
He
you
gonna
didn't
give you
even know you
something.
needed.
Yep.
And if you talk to him long enough, he gonna say, hey, come here, talk to me. If he really see you now,
Yep.
now he not. But guess what? People say, well, why won't Torian run out? Because God fill you up with it. This you can't run out, man. Listen, man. The story in the Bible of the lady, man. The story in the Bible of the widow lady who she couldn't pay her debt, so they were gonna take both of her sons and put them in, and they were gonna slave them to pay her debt. So this prophet come and tell the lady, listen. He goes, what you got in your house? She said, I ain't got nothing but this oil. He said, all right. He said, go out and get as many things as you can fill with them. Listen, and as long as they brought stuff, the oil never ran out. The oil only ran out when she stopped having stuff to put in. So they got stuff everywhere. They filling. He says, pay your debt with your oil, and whatever the excess is, you live off that. I'm telling you, Tori, what you got in you, partner, you ain't gonna run out.
I'm definitely not,
And people say, man, I know you saying Tori, I know you think yourself, T. What do I give? You already given it. I don't got to tell you what you're giving because you are already giving it. Just know, I pray that I wonder that when we die one day, do we get to see what they say at our funeral? Because in my will, I'm going to put, not allowed to wear black, you're not allowed to cry, you're only allowed to laugh and enjoy yourself. Why? Because I died on empty. I served as many as I could for as long as I could. to give as much as I could to him. And look, and I'm too blessed to have any complaints. Man, we ain't Tory. They came all the way to Cincinnati to get you, bro. What's Tennessee like? Hey, what's Tennessee like, man? What kind of animal is that? I got to call y'all back.
I tell you though, hey, Troupe, we all got stories. And I was talking to my homeboy yesterday, Sanders Trent. Shout out Sanders Trent, who has an unbelievable story. One of my college teammates from California, and he was a JUCO guy who transferred over, but um, and played at Oregon State. You know, with Chad Johnson and T.J. Husmanzada, and they had Junior Adams, and he was in the doghouse. Anywho, man, it's just a small world. So he gave me that. He gave me some of the same stuff you're giving me. And that's just encouragement, uplifting, and motivation. And that's what that's what this show's about. And everything that you've given us today, Troop, you know, it's more. I mean, it's a whole pot full of goodness, my boy. This is
It's got the UT. Listen. I ain't even say. Listen, I ain't even. I'm gonna leave you on this. The greatest thing. Listen, the greatest thing ever happened to me was the worst thing ever happened to me. Worst thing, the greatest, it ain't the worst thing ever happened to me when I was a young and I got molested. Right. But let me tell you what God do though. In Swainsboro, I had forgot his name. I thought his name was Dexter. His name was Spencer. Right. I'm in Swainsboro and I'm running around the track. They got this thing called Harmon Park, and I see him. I see the guy who molested me. Now obviously I don't look how I look then. I said, hey man, what's your name, man? He said, my name's Spencer. I said, do you remember me? He go, no, I don't remember you. And I said, I forgive you. Listen. I asked him, do you remember me? He goes, which means whatever he did to me could still be killing me, and he don't even remember. I said, man, I know you remember. I said, look, I forgive you. And I meant it. And the reason why is what happened to you is not your fault. If it continues to happen to you after the fact, it's your fault because you let it live in you. Forgiveness is a freeing thing. Forgiveness is freedom, right? You know, they say the truth will set you free. Well, so will forgiveness. I had to forgive that man because whatever he tried to do to me did not work. Didn't like it, didn't work. What am I saying? Man, let forgiveness be your saving grace, man. That is a superpower, man. Learn to forgive. Listen, I know you're being, do I got to forget? No, remember.
no, yeah.
But forgive because I cannot give something I don't possess myself. I am not forgiving people if I'm holding a grudge. That is a lie. Forgive. Listen, forgive yourself. Forgive that person that entered that situation and move on. I told the man who molested me when I was a kid, I forgive you. So
Telling you, hey, Troop, hey, listen, I appreciate you even sharing that, man. That takes a big person to, you know, and you're a big person in stature. And you know, you played at the highest level of football in the NFL, and as a, you know, for 7 years or so. You sharing that with me, and again, this is good for the viewers, right? It goes back to that mental health counseling and stuff. I can tell, man, like stuff, that counseling and stuff, it allows you to
yes, sir.
not be ashamed of the
Yes,
stuff that's
sir.
happened to you in your
Yes.
life. And so again, for anybody who's struggling with mental health, you know, resources are out there. You just got to look them up, and you know, I advise you to do so. And you know, and we about to wrap this up, but Troop, this has been, I'm gonna tell you this, my boy, this has been so informal. This has been groundbreaking for me, and I tell you, and I just thank you. I thank you for your energy. I thank you for your humility. I thank you for sharing your whole journey. And so, and it's some things that we didn't get to talk about because, man,
This is your show, T. So if you want
this
me back, you already know what it is.
100%. But hey, true. You've given my audience and these young people a lot to dissect, and I like to also have fun on this show, you know. And so with that being said, right, you know, at some point you had a teammate called, you know, gave you a nickname, what, Troop Skidoo.
Yeah.
Troop Skidoo, right? And you know, and I love that, you know, having fun in your profession, Troop Skidoo.
Yeah.
And so that's just one story. But you know, you had a long career and a successful career in high school and college and in the pros. Now, out of all those, all the players you played with, and you played with some people, we play, and you played with your Vince Youngs, you played with your Lindell Whites, you played with your Pac-Man Jones, you played with Keith Bullock, right? You played with some Steve McNair. We talking about some legends, right? You played with Mason. Right, Derek Mason, a great wide receiver, 1 yard short of the stretch against the Rams in the Super Bowl. Like, you played with so many great people, Chris Leak and with David Green in the All-Star game, and I can't even think about all the great players you play with at Florida. Out of all those things, because we have fun, you got different personalities. Is there one story from practice, from a game, from out of those that was so memorable, that you would like to share?
Listen, I told you, Titus Peoples, the son of Christine Peoples, who was a pastor of my church at Victory Temple Church of Reconciliation in Swainsboro, Georgia. He was born July 3rd, 1982. I was born September 1st, 1982. In 2003, the Florida Gators played the Arkansas Razorbacks on the road, and Titus Peoples from Swainsboro, who I helped this boy put up his wallpaper in his room. I helped him put that, back when they used to put the ACs in the window. I helped him do that. Listen, my longest friend, the only friend, I'm 42. He's been my friend for 42 years. Two Swainsboro boys got to play against each other in the S. I'm coming in motion. He played the tackle. I'm coming in motion. And I'm coming real slow. Because I get to see it. Because don't nobody know him like me. Don't nobody know where he's from like me. And for one moment, everything stopped. Meaning that boy won the high school championship in football for Swainsboro in 2000. I'm in college in 2000. In fact, when he told me he was going to Arkansas, and I saw him, and I said, "Well, we got y'all on the schedule." I got to play my partner, and it don't get better than that because.
Dang, dog.
But here's the thing: his mama, my mama, his girlfriend, who will become his wife, and his daughter Kanaya, they drove from Swainsboro to Fayetteville. They drove to see us play, and those are the things that stand out to me the most because listen, football is cool, right? But listen, I used to, man, when we opened up Victory Temple in 1999, me, my brother, and Tyler, we all ushers. How you know? But we got the little pins that say usher. We got the white long sleeve shirt on with the black slacks. We got the same color tie, right? When Tyler got married and when Tyler got married in 2005. You know what I'm saying? After in the summer of going into my second year, I'm the one in his wedding. He asked me to be in his wedding. Right? Hey, Troupe, can I? It's like we got so many memories, but this is why that stands out. When I moved to Augusta, Georgia, and Tyler's Peoples came up to visit us, and we were staying in Williamsburg Apartments, and we asked my mama who was working in Walmart, "Mama, can we go swimming?" She said, "No, only go swimming when I'm there. Don't go swimming when I'm not there." Well, one of my friends' mom, who used to be a lifeguard, we asked her, "Can we go swimming?" So myself, my brother, and Tyler, we in the pool. We jumping in and out the deep end. What I noticed is, with so much hoopla, I don't notice that Tyler's ain't really jumping in because everybody just having fun. When Tyler's finally jumped in the deep end, we realized he couldn't swim. He's in the middle of the pool yelling for me and my brother. And we could not help him because everybody got the pool because he's panicking. Even my friend's mom was supposed to be a lifeguard. She ain't jumping in to help him. Tori, this dude jumps over the fence, runs in the pool, jumps in, and pushes Tyler as hard as he could. Pushed him over to the side, but he couldn't swim. So he wouldn't come up. So now the dude that pushed him in, listen, we jumping on the pool. Now, one of these little apartment pools, that chlorine is so dark you can't see. It's not got chlorine. Yeah. We jumping in, can't find him. He's in the center of the pool, with the deepest part of the pool. This 6'7" dude jumps in the pool, goes all the way down, grabs him, and walks out on the shallow end. That dude died.
What?
Titus People could have lost his life that day, but because somebody could not swim, in my mind, was self saved that boy's life. So people say, "You telling me a person that can't swim to save a person that can't swim?" Yeah, I saw it. And the young lady's mom, the young lady whose mom was dating him, she was in my 5th grade class. So I had to see her the rest of 5th grade. That happened in my 5th grade year. So when I come by and I see him in the standing, I really know him. I know what happened to him. Because
Right.
remember when I told you the guy Spencer was molesting me, he was also
Yeah.
molesting him.
Wow.
Listen, man, listen, it runs deep. But here's the thing. Listen, you don't look like what you've been through. When you stand there and where you stood, just listen. And what used to happen to you is now happening for you. Those things happened for me. They happened to me at the time. They happen for me right now. So I can tell somebody, look, I am never gonna blame you what happened to you. But I will blame you if you let it keep happening to you. It don't
Man.
happen to me no more. That's why I can talk about it. Listen, but because the greatest thing about the Spencer situation, when I went for the NFL concussion protocol in Houston in 2016, my mama was with me. They asked me, "Have you ever been molested before?" I said, "Yeah." My mama said in the room. I said, "Yeah." They said, "What was his name?" I said, "His name is Dexter." My mama said his name was Spencer. Tori, and I have forgot his name.
Name. Wow. Wow,
I forgot
dog.
his name. So
Wow.
so when I'm saying the greatest football story to me was two country boys, loved football, loved each other, loved life, loved family. Titus grew up without Titus grew up without his daddy. You know who he said the greatest daddy he ever had? My daddy. He said, "Well, your daddy."
Man.
Look, man, listen to me. It ain't coincidental. It ain't by luck. It ain't even by chance. The greatest thing happened to Torian was Tori. Whatever happened to you, man, it happened for you so you can become who you can become. So when I'm watching this boy, when I'm going emotional, when I'm saying that's a Swainsboro boy right there, I really listen. Most people just know him because he played for the Arizona Razorbacks. I know him because I know. Listen, success to me is not what you get. It ain't even what you give, boy. It's what you become by overcoming. I will become because I overcame. That is
Man, that
success.
man, bro.
Yeah, man, that's my greatest football. I got plenty,
Man,
but my greatest one always gonna be, and we beat them boys every time I tackle.
yeah.
We shout at.
It beat them Razorbacks, my boy. Hey, man, and I appreciate you sharing that, man. And so you've had an unbelievable journey. And I've been fortunate and blessed enough for you to share it on this platform. And again, it's all about educating to elevate the listeners, the viewers, young, old, and alike. And I think that's exactly what you've done on this episode. And so when it comes to we talked about that's one of the best, and you've played in some unbelievable games in the
Many
NFL and
of them,
college,
bro.
and for that to be
Yeah,
your like your number one like favorite memory,
that's the number one. It
that that that
will not get better.
that shows me and tells me exactly what has already been confirmed through just our communication with each other over the phone and text messages, and now on this podcast. And now when it comes to this NIL, and when it comes to these players now, and it's all about branding themselves, and everything's on camera, and social media and clicks and things of that nature. What would you, after you went through all your processes of getting recruited, picking the school, getting drafted, finding agents, signing contracts, what would you, and this crazy, you got these kids who can transfer all, and I'm with the NIL, I'm with the transfer, the portal. I think it's gonna be some regulations on it, because it's I still always want to teach the kids. I want them to teach them to quit, because you got beat out, you got outbeat on your job, so you gotta, I'm gonna quit this and try to go find somewhere, because that really doesn't translate over to life very well, right? And I always look at sports as you can, a lot of the lessons that you learn through the sports, depending on how far the level that you get, it's relatable to life. And so so it's a couple of things. When it comes to the money, yeah, they give them the money. That's who they coming to see. But when it comes to the transferring, I think we should put a cap on it at a certain limit, because again, and that's just my opinion. But anywho, what kind of advice would you tell a aspiring, athlete, female or male, or what have you, that or don't doesn't know, that comes from a small town like Swainsboro,
Mhm.
who doesn't know how about the recruiting process, who doesn't know about the draft process? What advice would you give the current athlete in today's market,
I would
the young
say,
person?
this: education is the most powerful tool you have. You got to educate yourself, and I'm talking about the player. The parents might want to do the player because you got to. Because here's the thing: if I don't educate myself, I can't recognize a lie. I can't recognize it. And how they get you is what they're gonna do after they get you. Meaning, if I cheat you to get you, I'm gonna cheat you after I get you because that's how I got you. That's how I got you. Now, let me say this. Now, you said it. Name and image life is directly connected to one thing. Name and image likeness is connected to name and image leverage. Those who have the most leverage will have longevity. Now, some of us think we got leverage. Well, this is how you know if you got leverage. Most of us think we got leverage when we asking for money. No. Leverage is when you ask for partnerships. Ask Nike for a partnership. Not money. Hey, ask these entities, okay, I want my partnership to last 4 years in college and 5 years after college, whether I go pro or not. Because here's the thing. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. You got to be financially literate. Because guess what? If I was going to college and I was going to walk out with no debt, name him and like, I'm walking out with debt. You got an uncle. His name is Sam. And he's coming for you.
Yeah.
And if mommy and daddy ain't never cashed a $100,000 check, you need to have a financial advisor that has. Mom and daddy can't really do that. They ain't never done that before. So education, if they're gonna cheat you to get you, they're gonna cheat you after they get you because that's how they got you. I learned that from my agent. He said,
Wow.
Troupe, he said, Troupe, I ain't gonna cheat you because I don't got to lie to you. He said, I'm only here because you're gonna be a top pick. He said, listen, let me tell you something. He said, Joe Siegel said you will not go before 20 and you will not go past 40. I got drafted 40. So he know what he's talking about.
You're right. And who was your agent?
Joe Siegel. He's still doing it right now. His name is
Joe Siegel.
And to let y'all know, if I'm not influential on Joe, Joel is an Italian man who loves his wife and loves his kids. He didn't have children before he met me. One of his sons' name is Benjamin.
Wow.
I'm just telling y'all, he got 2 sons. One name is Benjamin. I'm telling you, name
Joe Siegel, right?
Siegel. Listen, this is what you want. Name and image like this. You want longevity. Here's what I would do. I would take somebody who has longevity now, and I would ask them, can I job shadow you or life shadow you for a couple of days? Well, Ben, they ain't gonna do that. How you know? Ask them. Ask them first. Here's the reason why you ain't gonna ask. You ain't gonna ask them because you think they're gonna say no. You scared if they say yeah. Because yes is done. I mean, no is done. Yes comes with something. So if I know ultimately it ain't about the money, man. It's security. You want to know that I'm financially secure. With everybody's financially secure, they're gonna be different, just like everybody. So for me, you got to educate yourself, that financial literacy part. But here's the thing: use name and image likeness to expose yourself to things that you need to be better at. You need to get outside this bubble known as Swainsboro, Georgia. You need to get outside this bubble known as UT Martin or even Nashville, Tennessee. Listen, New York is still a bubble if you ain't never left. If my whole life is 20 blocks, so use it to get out of your comfort zone, educate yourself financially and with this business, and get you a financial person to make sure you keep the money you make. Because it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. You are a direct reflection of your bank account because that shows me how you are with money. It doesn't mean that you're bad with money, but if you cannot budget with $100, you ain't gonna budget with $100K. People think if I just get and surround yourself with people who have more than you. You should not be the smartest in your group. You should be one of them. You should not be the. Because if anybody in my group could potentially ruin my life with one decision, I'm in the wrong group. Listen, my daddy told me, which I agree. He said, you don't need people in your circle, man. You need people in your corner. Because you can't fit that many people in the corner. You can't fit that many people. Right?
Nah, you can't.
Well, and I said, well, Daddy, why? He said, well, Daddy, why? What about the people in my circle? He said, because that's not a circle. Yeah, that's a cage. You can't get out. You can't get out. So for me, it's Torian. Listen, just because Mike told you about me, don't mean you're gonna call me, but you did. And by calling me, here we are. It's not rocket science. Hey man, I want to know. Hey man, you do podcasts? Yeah, I want to do podcasts. You'll come on my show? You ain't said nothing but a word. Here we are, 1317 Sports.
Yep.
Round yourself. Listen, and if you ain't networking, you not working. Just change the E to O. Your networking is free. Listen, and I don't got no hate in me, but here's the thing. If my podcast is called 84 Reasons, which is under Florida Victorious, which is the NIL platform for the University of Florida, if I'm at 42 years old and I can get an NIL, what is your excuse?
Right. There you go, 100%, man.
I've been out of this since 2004.
It's
It's
crazy,
21 years
man.
later.
You know, it's funny, Ben. It's funny. You know, you just said that because I'm actually looking into. You know, I'm in sales and like, you know, and just in everything we do in sales, but you know, my profession, I'm in sales, right? And so I deal with finance, and so, but sports is my avenue. People are my avenue. You know, uplifting and inspiring and motivating is my game, and so you know, I'm actually in the looking process of for Georgia, getting my looking into NIL, getting my NIL license,
This is,
and
and
it's through.
you can do it. All you gotta do is this: just tell the truth.
That's it.
Nobody has the experience you have, Tori. So when you talk
Yep.
to a parent, you're saying, "Listen." I said, "Listen. My name is Torian Green. My name is Ben Troupe, not CeeLo Green. My name is Torian
Right.
Stevens, not CeeLo Green. My name is." Ben. People say, "Why are you saying that?" Because CeeLo Green said, and I quote, "You don't want to hear the truth, so I'm gonna lie to you, make it sound fly to you." That's what I do. You don't want to hear the truth, so I'm gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna make it sound fly to you. But guess what? If you ever want to look for the truth, it's in the car by itself. You want to look for a lie, it's full of people because you can't tell who's who. Truth drives alone by
Yeah.
itself.
Yep.
And then once you do that, man, listen. If you need my help with that, man, like I say, man, I got a nephew about to go to Kennesaw State, man, and he gonna need to be surrounded by good people.
Oh yeah.
It
And
ain't
I'm
it ain't the it ain't this it ain't the. I go. He want a car. I want a car. Oh man. I said, you want a car to drive? Yeah. Well, listen, they got dealer cars for that. You just driving around the city, Uncle Benny. How you know about dealer cars? Because I done did some things in his life. I know
right.
about a little something. Why a dealer car? Because it's already insured, and
Yep.
you can't put so many miles on it. It's one
Yep.
of
Yep. Yep. Man, dude. Hey, listen. You words of wisdom. This man right here, Mr. Troop, Mr. Ben Troop. He played football, but you wouldn't think he did. This man he's a professional in life coaching. I'm gonna tell you that. But and we about to jump off this thing. You played at the highest levels of college in Florida. You played the highest level in your profession in NFL for the Tennessee Titans. You were All American in high school, All American in college. You were able to walk off the field on your terms of the NFL. You were able to become a sought out author of a children's book. And then of course, you're fine with that. We good. I love the family in the
them.
background. We good. We good. I promise you. You've done a lot of things, and you got even more to do. And you play with a lot of great players. And I just want to ask you this: you play with a lot of great athletes. Who was the best football player? Like I don't care if it's on your team, on the opposing team. As my homeboy, he talks about Calvin Johnson because he played for the
Yeah,
Minnesota Vikings. He played
the
defensive end. He was like,
best,
man, that dude was the biggest dude to take down, and he's 6'5".
the best football.
They were just mind blowing.
You
Like,
know what?
yo,
The best football player I've ever played with was in high school. His name was Isaac West. He went to Furman. And so when we came out of 2000, myself, Carlos Rogers, and Isaac West went to Furman and he broke records at receiver. But had he been a quarterback, he would have broke records at quarterback too. This boy could do anything with a football. I any position. You would have put him at safety, he would have been All American. Would have put him at corner. We needed him at receiver, so he went out there and balled. Billy Napier, the head coach of Florida right now, threw to Isaac. So for me, because I played with some great ones, but
you
the only
have.
reason why I knew what a great one looked like is because Isaac showed me what great football players. Listen, and the greatest thing about Isaac West, that boy say, Wayne, what's your first name? Isaac. What's your middle? He ain't got no middle name. He'll say, he said, my first name is Isaac. My middle name is West, and my last name is Junior. Because I'm Isaac West Jr. I ain't got no middle name. So Isaac
his
West,
last name was Junior.
yeah, listen, and let me tell you what make Isaac West him. When I get drafted in 2004, Swainsboro, Georgia, with every major news outlet in Swainsboro, Georgia, back when phones would roam, him and his sister Maya,
Wow, dog.
Aaron Kenny, I don't deserve these people, man.
Man.
So for me, Isaac West is the greatest football player I've ever seen because I saw him before nobody knew him. And he was him then.
Wow,
And
dog.
hey, listen, Isaac West is the reason why if I get a drink, that boy gonna get a drink right now with no ice in it. If he go go to Burger King or something, he'll say, Coke with no ice. Okay.
Man, dude, listen, man. Hey, look, shout out to Isaac West. This guy again. This man has played He's played with a
Listen, I'm
lot.
gonna tell Isaac about 13-17. You have him on, man, and make you have him on. Isaac him. He him.
I would love to have him on the show. Again, the more that we share our stories as far as in the sports world and the things that we've gone through, the more the younger folks will be aware and have some head on the swivel more so. Again, right now and with this NIL stuff, they're a money grab for a lot
I'm
of
gonna
people. They
say this
don't
right
care.
now. Hold on. I'm gonna say this right. Lord, I pray that Torian Stevens lead the way in NIL from an information standpoint, from a truth standpoint, to the point where he gets flown all over the world. People have to pay him not to just they have to pay for his flight first class. They have to pay for his hotel 5-star. They got to pay for his incidentals. They got to pay him just to show up and educate. I want him to be the leader of it. I want him to be able to supplement his income with NIL leading the way, because Torian Stevens reminds me of Inky Johnson from Tennessee. That's who you remind me of. And if you could
Man,
do it for Inky, do it for Torian. So when it happens,
man, listen.
Torian, I'm
Hey, listen. Hey, true. I appreciate that, man. You made me feel like I'm on 84 Reasons, my boy.
listen. You are listen.
Hey,
T, when they put you in front of them, listen, let me say this. When they ask you, you don't have to say it on here. When they ask you how much you charge, talk to the missus, and there is no, listen. And when people ask me, well, Ben, they say, you charge that much? I said, no. I charge what I'm willing to take, not what I'm worth. You can't afford me, but you want my
man,
you can afford me.
I'm telling man, I'm gonna be. Hey, listen. When I run this back and I'm doing my edits, I'm gonna be stealing a lot of your stuff, my boy. I listen. But then all jokes aside, though, True. This again. I appreciate you. For the audience, audience members like Troupe and I, we just met about 3-4 months ago, man, on the phone. We didn't grow up together. We had a mutual friend, one of my ex-teammates who I was a freshman, he was a senior, and Mike Patton. And Mike Patton didn't have to do what he did to connect us, but he did. And and again, I'm all about these stars aligning. And so, we this episode went longer than I wanted, but I'm gonna chop it up into 2 episodes. That's what I love to do. You gave us so much, True. But listen, I won't hold you much longer. So everybody, when it comes to this man that we talking to, this is Ben Troupe, former NFL player, not just a former NFL player, not just a former NFL star. He's a father, he's a mentor, he's a role model, right? He's a motivational speaker. He's a lot of things outside of football. He may have gone professional in the game of football, but he damn sure has gone professional in life. Listen, man, I appreciate you, man. I am humbled. I am honored. As you tell your missus, man, I appreciate her. Your better half, I appreciate her for letting me, take you away for 2.5 hours. Everybody, you check Ben Troupe out on his podcast. You can find it on Spotify, 84 Reasons. Check his books out. Tell me the book's name. I don't got my notes right in front of me. 2 books.
Judy and John, we got Judy and John, Judy and John's Mass, and we got Uncommon Unfinished, the Ben Troupe Store with BJ Bennett.
And then of course you have your nonprofits. Go ahead and tell us.
My nonprofit is The Uncommon Crew. That's The Uncommon CRU, creating the real you in an uncommon way. We need. One team, one fight.
Hey, listen, Troupe. I want you to, make sure you text me your social. I'll get your social. I already got that. I need you to text me your the websites and resources. So once I put this thing together, man, it's available for my viewers and my listeners. But man, without any more hold up, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Ben Troupe. Hey, big dog, man, I appreciate you much, man.
We can do some. Bro, keep talking that shit, you just might move some. Apply that pressure. Apply that pressure.